Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hall and I do product and travel review videos. So today we are in my Rivian doing a three-part series. So the first episode was around cockpit controls. So both of the turn signal, light stick, the keys, the steering wheel controls, how to adjust mirrors, the seat control, that kind of thing. So today we're going to be talking about the infotainment and a lot of the things on the infotainment, everything pretty much outside of the driving. So not drive modes, not driver plus. I'm going to cover that in the third video because there's lots of things around sensors and things like that I want to cover, and I think it's going to be too much. So today we're going to be talking about infotainment, everything outside of the driving. So let's get into it right after the bumper. Okay, so we're going to walk through the way I pretty much made up my to-do list here is right through the owner's guide. So we're going to walk through that. So first place I want to talk about is the cameras. So on the cameras, if you come into settings, you come into the three dots and you click cameras. A couple things I want to touch on here. The bird's eye view camera is incredible, which is on the left-hand side of the screen. It's great for backing up, getting in the parking spot lines, getting between the lines, seeing how you're sitting just in your general arena. Helps with backing up or backing up to a trailer, anything like that. It's really great for getting in and out of really tight spots. Front camera view, rear camera view. Rear camera view, you can look at both of these while you're driving. So if you're pulling something behind you or you have something behind you like a basket that attaches to your hitch or your actual trailer, you can actually see what's going on behind you while you're driving, which is pretty incredible. Climate control. So I want to jump over here. A lot of this is reasonably standard, but there are some interesting things in here. So heated steering wheel, heated seats, cooling seats, same thing. You got heated seats and cooling seats on the right-hand side. Obviously your power on and off. And then you can turn these vents on just by clicking them. You can control them by moving them around. Not a huge fan of that, but it is what it is. These tiny buttons are to increase fan. They're kind of annoying to hit. I've talked about that in some of my other videos. Your best bet is either just to hit auto and then it'll keep an auto temperature, or you can use Alexa as well if you have that hooked up and say Alexa fan up, fan down, whatever that looks like. You have obviously using your internal air, you can sync both sides then, right and left, and then up in the right hand corner you have a paw, and that is for your pet mode. So a couple things about pet comfort. It keeps the cabin at a consistent temperature for your pet. If you're leaving your pet in your vehicle, you have to have at least 50 miles of range to be able to use it, and it will drain your battery completely. So it prioritizes your pet's comfort over your own battery. So realize that if you're running in and you're at like 51 miles and you take a long time, you could come out with a pretty low battery. So realize that is going to prioritize your pet over your range. So just a heads up there. Next thing we're going to go to is Alexa controls. So we're going to go in here to settings and we're going to go to apps. And so in Alexa, you can see you have a bunch of options here. When you hit sign in, normally you should get a QR code. Right now, I am not getting a QR code. I read in the Rivian forums, they're having issues between the Alexa connectivity and Rivian, so they're working on that. So whenever that happens, you just hit the QR code and then follow the instructions. But you can use Alexa for media control, obviously climate control, all those types of things. Brings up your calendar, contacts by name. You can actually control devices in your own home through your vehicle. All of the commands are in the owner's manual as well. That's in your truck, or you can check it out online. But realize that right now it's not technically working the way it should. Next thing I want to talk about is Bluetooth. Bluetooth's really standard. You can set up your phone. You can use your phone for media and things like that, and then also for calling. The Wi-Fi is to look at Wi-Fi networks that are in your area to connect to, and this can be used for updating as well. You can technically use your vehicle as a hotspot as well. That hotspot ability is free, I think, up until the first 12 to 14 months. As of right now. And that's really for launch editions because they haven't gotten their subscription process nailed down on what that's going to look like, how much they're going to charge. So right now they're still figuring that out. So my Rivian, my guide helper, Tyler, told me you'll probably have it free for about 14 months until we figure out what we're going to do there. So realize that may change in the future, but for right now, that service is free. So you literally can create a hotspot from your truck. You could, connect devices to it and work from it and all that stuff. It's really just using cellular service. That hotspot also helps with your SOS if you're having issues, maps and navigation, entertainment, live traffic updates, remote connection with Rivian app, those types of things. So The last thing is the next thing is the garages. The garages are super easy to set up. I just have one hooked up to it right now. And then you can also take a look at your camp speaker as well. And that's everything inside of this main part that I want to cover. Next, we're going to go to audio controls. So when this pops up over here, you can slide this just kind of like an app. You can slide that out of the way, and we'll close that. So a lot of similar controls here for the audio. You can move this around to figure out where you want it to hit. You can change your focus here. You can always hit reset too. It'll reset everything back. You can change your EQ settings, 3D surround sound, dynamic sound adjustment. You have your Spotify, you have your local radio stations, you have your cell phone, and you have like HD radio and things like that. So audio controls, they have radio, Spotify, TuneIn, Bluetooth, Amazon Music, Ask Alexa, Sirius from your phone if you have the Sirius app on your phone through Bluetooth. So pretty extensive customization inside the audio. The speakers are great. The Meridian is the company who the speaker company they're using, and that sounds amazing. So huge plus there. I'm a big talk person, like podcasts and stuff like that. So, I'm not a massive music person. And the nice thing about up in the right-hand corner, if you hit these three dots, you can choose based on the type of music or type of audio you're listening to, and it'll adjust the EQ for you. So they do have presets, which is nice because you don't want a lot of bass when you're listening to obviously people talking. But if you want to rock out and you want to, turn the bass up, you have that option as well. Next, we're going to move to navigation. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to zoom out. So right now, so looking at navigation, we're in the Boston area, and I want to show kind of what it looks like around here. So you can look at, if you go up here, and if I just choose DC fast chargers up to 100 kilowatts or over 100 kilowatts, you can see kind of the charging network in this area. So you can look up, you can use the map specifically for chargers, which is nice. So that obviously helps you. And then you can obviously see, you can take off the charging aspect, you can take off the real world aspect and see it as just a map. And then you can switch that back to kind of like Google Earth type. And then you can also, you can zoom. If you come down here to the Cape Cod area, it gets, it's very Google Map-ish. Like you can see actual, like live data exactly the way you expect from a Google Earth type setup. So very cool map. Obviously using a lot for charging, but you can also use it for navigation, and then it will update traffic information, everything like that if you set up trips. So yeah, map is pretty great. So a couple things on this. If you choose a destination that's outside your battery range, your charging options will appear throughout your trip. And then so charging options will appear on your route. When you are approaching your determined charge station, the battery will start cooling or heating up to accommodate a faster charge. So so the truck knows your navigation, where you're going, you're coming up on a charging station, it'll start to alter your battery, either warming it up or cooling it down to make sure that when you hit that charging station, your battery is in an optimal situation to charge faster, which is, if you think about that, that's pretty incredible. It's tracking where you're going. It's using the information that's on the vehicle. This is where it gets super spacey, right? I call this thing my spaceship because it's actually going to adjust the battery temperature to make sure it's optimal for when you're charging. Incredible. Love it. Next, we're going to move to the gear guard. So I'm going to go over here, and then we're going to go into the gear guard section. Actually, can we go in here? Yeah, we can go in here. So you can see videos from today from me just driving around. They're obviously capturing it, but if you go back over here, you can see the gear guard to the right. You can change that to everywhere or pause at home. You can see your videos. You can turn gear guard on and off. Essentially, gear guard is your security camera system that downloads up to 1 terabyte of videos, keeps them for up to 7 days, and then you can download them from a USB-C inside the center console. And you can download them to a stick. Just make sure it's not a USB, it's a USB-C. So it's a little like the way you charge phones. Some of the phones nowadays, so you need to get a thumb stick that accepts that kind of port. So the gear guard, great. I did a whole video on gear guard and what it looks like. It does not have night vision, but it does a really good job, and you can catch some people being pretty funny. I've caught people like taking selfies in front of my truck, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, check that out, the gear guard. And then you also have the cable system that's in the bed that you can actually lock your gear down. So from this main kind of hub system, we're going to stay here. You can obviously open the hood and close the hood. You can open the charge port and close the charge port. So those are both hydraulic that you can open and close them. The gear tunnels, you can just open them. So they would just like pop and unlock. So like instead of using the button that's on the railing next to the bed, you can do this here, and then somebody would be outside just to open them and pull them down. You can open and close your tonneau cover. You can open and stop it, or close it and stop it. You can open your tailgate. It will not close your tailgate. You have to manually do that. You can adjust your mirrors and the wheel like we did last time, fold your mirrors, passenger window locks, things like that. And then car wash mode is also on here, and you want to use that when you're washing your vehicle. So it closes the vents up in the wheel well, so you're not dumping water right into your battery. So on the access and security, that's kind of the main pieces inside of here. And then if we go to lighting here, so inside of this, you can turn on and off your accent lighting, your cabin doors, and how your cabin lighting adjusts when you open the doors. So on with doors, stay off. You can adjust the brightness. You can change displays here, to night mode versus day mode. Versus auto. You can change how bright that is as well. Your rear display, which is for your temperatures in the back, you can turn that on or off. So that's kind of the lighting display section here. And then this last part is really, you can set your trips for trip A and B, and then you have your addition of your truck and all the specs for that on the right hand side, and kind of shows your truck. So that covers all of that. If I go down to here and I'm going to go to energy. So this is your main hub for charging. So it tells you you can choose between your 70, 85, and 100 charge limit. So every time you plug in, daily being your 70% to conserve your battery, 85 being, in between that, and 100 being if you're going on long trips, your 120 volt outlets throughout the truck, your charging schedule, if you want to set a charging schedule, and then your charging amperage you can check. And you can look at your session summary. The last time I charged, it tells you, about that. What kind of, it tells you your mileage based on the range that you currently have chosen. So if I had conserve mode, that would change. If I come here and go to conserve, you can see it'll go to 178 instead of 165. If I go to sport mode, I only drop 2 miles, but at full charge, I'm only getting 267 versus 270 versus 293. And you can reset that history as well. You can open your charge port from here as well. So there's multiple ways to open your charge port. Besides physically opening out there with the button, you can do it on multiple screens. But this kind of gives you a look at what your charging screen looks like. Now, besides that, you can see down here, you have the phone. I'm not going to click that because it has a bunch of contacts on it. And then the rest of your settings here, you have your connect, you have your vehicle, and we're going to get into some of this stuff in the next video, but you have the way you can control your locking, whether you door unlock behaviors, unlock all doors or just the driver door when you step towards your vehicle or use the key, auto unlock and park, proximity locking. This one is one of my main complaints, that the truck has a pretty far proximity locking and unlocking. So I could turn that, but I do like not having to pull out my phone every time. But sometimes when I'm still in a store, it'll unlock my truck, and I don't like that. So the auto relock, power hood operation, side mirror folding, you can choose what you want to do there. Driver Plus we'll cover next time. Updates is where it'll give you your update information, and then if you have an update, your services, car wash, tire change, park brake release, vehicle shipping, all that kind of stuff. You can set these based on what you're doing. And then exterior lighting, you can choose interactive lighting. You can choose what your light bar does, when you're charging, entry lights, guide lights, how long they stay on, if the charge port light stays on, and if you want automatic high beams and things like that. So then drivers and keys, just how many actual profiles you have, and then legal and privacy is just the legality of the vehicle and the ownership. So that covers the navigation, the radio audio. We're not doing drive modes today. Obviously, we covered this already. and the settings, we covered that. And then the phone. And then the last thing is just the owner's guide. So if you have other things and you're not sure what to do or how to find them, just come to your owner's guide. It has a search menu and also has a pretty extensive content on the left, and there's quick links as well. So everything is already on here. You don't even have to leave your truck, but you can also get the owner's guide online as well if you need to do that. So I think for this one, outside of the driving stuff, I think that's everything I wanted to cover. Once again, like in all my videos, if you have any questions about anything I covered today, or there's something you want to see that maybe I haven't done a video on before, let me know. This video actually came from a comment that I had in one of my other videos asking about the controls of the vehicle, because I do reference it as my spaceship. So there's some spaceshipy things in here, and there's obviously going to be even more spaceship type applications in the driving one specifically. But so my next video will be mostly around driving, censorship, drive modes, driver plus, cruise control, all that kind of stuff, which I'm very excited about because it's super fun and geeky. And then the first video was around the cockpit controls and everything in this arena. So I think that's everything I have for this. I made it through all my notes. I had to record this video 5 times because things kept messing up and it was driving me crazy. I actually started at like 6:30 this morning. It is now 7:30 at night and I've tried 4 or 5 different times. So finally got through it. Thank goodness my GoPro didn't overheat, but that's everything. And we will catch you on the next video. Thanks.